this podcast series by Clean. Through the series, we aim to bring to you the success stories from the DRE sector. In today's episode, we have Leigh, Shaun, Arshdeep, and Anjan from their organization Simi Stove. Hello, everyone.
Hiya.
Hiya.
So I'll begin with the questions right away. My first question to all of you is, what does your company do?
We actually started life as a stove manufacturing company. So we designed the Simi Stove, but first of all we needed to protect the design because it's new technology and it's reasonably cheap to make and it's highly efficient. And the first part of the company was getting the protection in place for the design. So we patented the design in the UK and various countries around the world, and that takes quite a long time. The stove is patented in India, which has now been accepted. So that's kind of the first part of the journey that you have to do. Once you've got the patent, you can then go and get the manufacturing costs and look at building up your business. Part of it is not just the stove, but it's the fuel delivery for the stove, because we're quite unique in using a bioethanol or methanol gel. And the reason we've chosen a gel is because it's a lot safer and it's a lot easier to use for people. So we wanted to come to market with one of the best products and one of the cheapest clean cook solutions in the market. And with all our research that we've done, and as we've kind of grown, we've got a country manager in Nepal, country manager in India. The research that's taken place has just underlined all the initial research that we did to say that we have got one of the cheapest clean cook solutions entering the market. And if we use bioethanol, it's a fully sustainable fuel and it's carbon neutral. So we're very reasonably priced and it's very environmentally friendly. And the stove, because of the simplicity of its design, is very cost effective. It's very cheap in the marketplace. So I'll get told off for calling it cheap, but it's, you know, the price is really sensitive. The market that we're going for, people that haven't got lots of money. So the cost is really important. And we're just about to go to market in India. We've got our contract manufacturers sorted. The manufacturing is going to be done in India. And yeah, it's a very exciting time for us. We've done tests with a stove in Bangladesh, and that was hugely successful. And that was going to be our first country where we launched. But because of the political and religious issues concerning bioethanol, which is deemed alcohol, it meant basically we couldn't launch in Bangladesh. We did a launch at the Clean Energy Summit in Dakar last year, and one of our videos of that has received over 400,000 in Bangladesh, which is a large number.
Yeah.
And we've come up with an alternative fuel now for Bangladesh, which is methanol, which Arshdeep has been instrumental in finding that and sourcing that in India. So we'll be Bangladesh through India. So, and in a nutshell, that's really where we're at, and we're just on the cusp of going to market. We got some very interesting ideas about how we do our distribution. We want to empower people, and when I say the people that do all the cooking are the ladies, the women, and we want to build up a network of distributors using village matriarchs or women that need employment and an income, and they will be the Simi Stove champions for us in a geographical area. So once we got the manufacturing sorted, we've got the fuel sorted, we can go to market and just hopefully make some money and improve lives. So
Right.
yeah.
It's a great initiative. Now I would like to know, how did your company start, and like why did you start it?
Yeah, I designed a cooking product called the Wondu, which is basically a hot plate that you use at the dinner table, and it's for posh people. It was very expensive, but with that I used bioethanol because it's smokeless and odorless, and you can cook indoors. So I did a lot of research with the University of East London. They were very helpful, utilising the fuel and getting enough heat out of an 80-gram pack to last for an hour. So you can cook with 80 grams for an hour, and that kind of opened up the kind of market. And then I designed what was a portable Wondu, which actually sat alone as a stove. So the inception was about 10 years ago, and it was actually a portable Wondu, which actually sat alone as a stove. And because of all the research and testing with the bioethanol, it made sense to have a look at a cooking stove using bioethanol. And then after that, I looked at the market, and I couldn't believe, really opened up my eyes. 4 million people die each year through indoor air pollution. It's called household air pollution, HAP. And I couldn't believe there weren't these, something was being done. There's, it used to be the Global Alliance for Clean Cooked Stoves, which is now the Clean Cooking Alliance. They wanted to deliver 100 million stoves, but they were still using wood burning stoves. So the issues with deforestation, smoke, they were making a big problem a smaller problem, but they weren't tackling the problem. So, and they're still funding wood burning stoves. And I just thought there's a huge need for a clean cook solution that is completely clean and it's fully sustainable, and Simi Stove fits the bill. And I couldn't believe over the years, the more and more I looked into it, that there's just this huge gap in the market. And within India, the amount of bioethanol that's produced is enormous. You know, it's on track for 7 billion litres by 2023. So, you know, there's all this resource available, and all you need is the right vessel and the right distribution network, and you can supply millions of people with a clean cooked solution. So, and on the back of that, the more advanced we got with our research, Leigh was instrumental with the climate change and how beneficial it is to use bioethanol. You know, because it's carbon neutral, the development of the bioethanol seemed logical. And yeah, we're carbon neutral. It's, you know, we kind of tick all the boxes, which is really exciting. And we got a fantastic team as we've grown, which, yeah, very exciting for us now. But it's taken it's been a long journey, and we haven't really gone to market. So we're going to market in a couple of months, and all the indications are that we'll be very successful.
So now that we know about your product and your company, and now that you've also said that you haven't gone to the market properly, but then can you share a few success stories in terms of your technology growth in the past few years that you've been working on the product?
Yeah, I think it's the thing is to go to market and have everything in place so that we can, you know, so the whole structure of the company's growth, because we could grow very quickly. So the foundation has had to be in place to have all the business models set. But I think our first thing was the validation of the stove and will it work? And we did a field test in Bangladesh with over 50 families, and they tried it from a week to 2 weeks to a month. And families, I think 88% wanted and would use the stove as their primary cook source. And in Bangladesh at the time, that we did it in a peri-urban situation. It was the slums around Dhaka, and just seeing it firsthand, these ladies cooking using wood, and because wood is expensive in Dhaka, you know, there are no forests, and as well in Bangladesh, they've lost 50% of their forests in the last 20 years. So ultimately, they're going to run out of forests, and people can't cook with wood because there won't be any. So we were quite interested to see people's reactions. I think one of the ladies said it's so clean and easy to use. Even when I'm poorly and I'm stuck in bed, I can still cook my husband's dinner. So it's just really interesting, and you know that they wanted to keep the stoves, but we couldn't deliver the fuel. But and we could almost compete with wood because they were having to buy wood, and this particular lady, on this occasion, was using bamboo that had been used on a building site, and it was covered in concrete, and she's using this to cook with, and she absolutely loved our stove. So the validation has been proven, but we now need to do it in India. Nepal, we're just going through the trials there, but I think because it works in Bangladesh, I'm very comfortable with it working everywhere else. So,
and one more success, we were named in the top 3 for the Climate Launchpad Nepal 2020 competition. So we're named one of the top 3 startups in Nepal just recently.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, we've been going quite a while, and that was our first little bit of recognition that our business model is sound, and if you like, it's our first environmentally as well. So
yeah.
If
I can just mention a little thing. I think our model is slightly different from most in that you're seeing a lot of money now spent on the design of stoves to limit, not eliminate, but to limit the amount of pollution it gives off. They're called, you know, improved cook stoves. But they're designed to limit the pollution from biomass fuels. Whereas when we started, we thought, why on earth are you using fuels that pollute? Let's get a non-polluting fuel like ethanol or methanol and design a nice simple stove that's inexpensive, and all it has to do is burn ethanol. So we don't have to put too much money into the stove. It can be cheap to buy, and the fuel's pretty cheap too. So we're not investing all the money in the stoves. And there was another thing I was going to mention, which I've forgotten because I'm old. Still carry on and I'll think about it.
Yeah.
That's it. Design the stove to burn clean fuel, not design a stove to limit. Oh, and that's the other thing, the pollution that comes out. But the other thing is this household air pollution, with the 3 billion people using it worldwide, it contributes about 20% of the black carbon put into the atmosphere. So though we started to concentrate on the indoor pollution, if we can get to enough people and cut down this pollution, we can do a lot to help climate change as well. And we think people are concentrating in the wrong area with biomass because that just limits it, doesn't eliminate it. But still, carry on, Shaun. Sorry, mate.
No, that's spot on. A great team. So we work very well together.
Yeah. So then I'll move on to the next question. And my question is, what did you learn from the sector, from the clean cooking sector in the past few years of your work?
The one big thing I think I've learned is how lots of people are saying lots of things and no change is happening. So years ago, the Global Alliance for Clean Cooked Stoves wanted to deliver 100 million stoves, and China said they produced loads, but they couldn't validate the figures, and all they did was buy or give away lots of stoves that burnt wood more efficiently. And, you know, the problem wasn't being addressed. So in Bangladesh, Bangladesh is a great example. We've done lots of work there. They've lost 50% of their rainforest, and they're using wood burning stoves, which you can have the two, you know. So the new energy is, people aren't really adopting it as quickly as they should. And I think bioethanol has been a solution for a long, long time. You know, me coming up with it is nothing new. All I've done is come up with a really clean, efficient, really cost-effective stove. And we want to use bioethanol. The only thing I think where we're innovative is making it a gel, so it's really safe. The safe thing is a huge thing, where people are living in wooden buildings and you spill the spirits, and it's obviously highly flammable. It's a very, very big safety issue. Whereas our fuel, if you spill it, you can pick it up again. You know, it's very, and it's a lot easier to handle, and we're getting the same calorific value out of the fuel. But I think overall, I'm disappointed with the money that's going into the clean cooked sector. Lots of people, there's MEX, the modern energy cooking systems in the UK. They're piloting these pressure cookers, electric pressure cookers, which are fantastic, but they cost about £150, which is hugely expensive. So only the rich people can afford them, but they're driving this program forward in lots of countries where electricity is intermittent at best, and there's loads of places that aren't even on the grid. So I don't get some of these programs. You know, I've been really disappointed with some of the companies and the NGOs and the governments. They're driving these programs that I don't think are doing anything for the problem. And you know, I just think the pressure cookers are fantastic, you know, if you're a wealthy person and you can cook with other things as well. And yeah, I think disappointed with how the whole thing is being treated. And I think we want to be game changers. We want to come into the market and shake it up, you know, and say this has been out there for a long, long time, and we've had no help. You know, we've done it all ourselves, and in a year's time, I want to say, look, this is our delivery. This is the way to go. So, and we'll see.
Yeah.
And like, what changes do you foresee in the sector in the near future?
Everyone's going to be using ethanol.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah. But why not? It's clean. All the other stuff is not clean.
Yeah.
God, you know, I think that's the
and
frustration.
Yeah, Nepal is a good example. Nepal is now they're producing enough electricity for all of their people now. They've got a surplus in electricity generation, so it makes sense to roll out the grid to the whole population. But with the way the geography is in Nepal, it's very difficult to build a grid system because it's obviously very mountainous. But the politicians there, I mean, it's the right way to go. So they got a surplus in electricity, so give it to the people. But even with some of the big capitals, bits of Dhaka and Delhi, there's still power cuts. So with the best will in the world, people can't always cook with electricity. So in Nepal, our stove can be a superb secondary cook stove. The ethanol keeps for a very long, and if there
2 to
are
3 years.
yeah, if there are power cuts, they can still cook their dinner. So they can use ethanol as a secondary cook solution. And where the villages are in really far off places, really hard to get to, LPG is hard to get there. So why not use a clean cook solution? Why not use bioethanol? And Nepal actually already makes enough ethanol for 1.5 million people to cook with each year. So a scaling up of the agriculture on that, then you roll it out with electric and bioethanol. You could supply all the Nepalese people with a primary and secondary cook source, which is clean and environmentally friendly, because the electricity produced in Nepal is hydroelectricity. So that, I think Nepal is actually doing things really well. So, but they haven't got our stove yet, but they're trying to work with us to help bring it into the market. So that's been really good. And yes,
I think another change you're going to see is the clean cooking and the climate change groups are going to merge more. CAA has already done it. CCA has already done it. When we started, the Clean Cooking Alliance on their website was all clean cooking. And now if you look at their website, you'll see that it's merged into climate change as well. And there's a lot more about climate change, because the pollution from those stoves does affect the climate. If you've got 3 billion people cooking with it, that's going to affect the climate. And so I think what you're going to see now is a merging of those two sectors. And so that clean cooking has become more associated with a clean climate as well as a clean environment. So I think that's going to change, and that will help us, I think. But yeah, I do see a move to clean fuel rather than clean stoves.
Yeah. So yeah, let's hope for the best. Let's hope bioethanol and methanol picks up, and clean cooking actually means clean cooking in the near future.
Yeah. Oh, the thing's going to end, the Zoom session. Oh, no, sorry. Well, also, you see, if you go with the clean cooking to the villages and bring where pollution is rife out there, so you bring the clean cooking to there, you can start looking at local sort of micro distilleries and local distribution companies run by some of the villages. And so you're even looking at boosting the economy and empowering women and cleaning the household pollution away and helping the environment. I mean, it's all a win-win, isn't it? Whatever with what we're doing, it is a win-win for everybody. And I think all that's going to come together. It's going to be one industry. One industry.
Yeah.
Except for COVID-19, which is going to ruin everything. Which is the next question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping one of you would pick up the COVID-19 crisis that's going on. But since we haven't touched up on that, I would like to know your thoughts on how that has affected business and is going to affect business in the future.
Well, quick overview, I think. We're waiting to do I think Arshdeep and Anjan could answer that well, but right now we're waiting to roll out a field test in Nepal. And that's on hold through COVID. It's holding up stuff in India, and it's hindering our working with Bangladesh as well, because we're working with Bangladesh through India.
Okay.
We can't travel. We've got a thing going on in Nigeria with FUTA, which is a Nigerian university, and the Manchester University here. The three of us are all working on this one proposal for Nigeria, and that's going to be held up by COVID. The grant was going to come out in April, was it? Sure.
Yeah, we're looking at starting in March. Yeah, but that's delayed because of the COVID. So
that needs us to be out there monitoring some of the. We're going to use FUTURB's students as monitoring people. We need to be there to look at what changes might need to be made to the stove, and we can't get out there. So it's really hindering our work, and we don't see it changing.
Yeah, I mean the positive. I mean Zoom has just been a real boon for us. You know, to have country managers, you know, working independently. You know, we have lots of communication, but Zoom has enabled us in these COVID times to progress. And COVID has added to our timeline. You know, it's delayed lots of things, but we've still enabled, with good communication, we've still been enabled to carry on. So, and we are going to market in October in India. So. Yeah. It's well done, Arshdeep. So
yeah, and plus I want to add something that due to COVID, all the supply chains, like even if you see the ethanol price from the regular price and the price at which ethanol is being sold now is at all-time high. Like it's triple the price that ethanol is being sold. So it's completely disrupting the market scenario. You know, that is why if you see that we can't simply go with the ethanol now, because it will be very tough for people to afford ethanol at this moment of time, since there is a huge amount of ethanol. Similarly, for the stove manufacturing, there is a shortage of raw materials from the steel industry, because there is an issue with the COVID and some border issues. So there is a shortage of supply. So that is also taking a lot more time than it is expected. We were expected to do a pilot test in October in India, but still seeing the scenario of COVID, it's still like I'm still thinking of taking it further ahead, because it's still not possible at this scenario with 1 million cases a day, almost. No, sorry, 1 lakh cases a day. It's like affecting a lot on the Simi Stove progress.
With regards to Nepal, can you hear me?
Yeah, you were muted
With regards to Nepal, we're in the same page as well, because all of our supply chain is affected. You know, when we try to get the methanol from India, in the normal times, they used to take 12 days. But it took a bit longer, and again, the lockdown started, and you know, everything wasn't hard. But as a team, we are communicating well enough on each other, so that is a bit progressive. And you know, we are on a good step now, so hopefully the ball will be rolling ASAP, so things are in a better stage than compared to before. But you know, let's prepare for that and get the ball rolling.
Yeah. So yeah, those were all the questions from my end. So I would just like to thank you all for your time, and yeah, all the viewers who are listening and watching. Thank you. Yeah.